Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take source material, yours or ours, and really dig in to find those insightful nuggets. Today, we're diving into some really profound spiritual texts. We'll be exploring themes like, divine presence, being ready for things, and what wisdom truly means.
Sounds great.
We've got pieces from Discerning God's Harvest, Heart, Wisdom and Readiness, and also Dwelling in God's Kingdom, Old and New Parables. So it's quite a mix.
Yeah, real tapestry.
Exactly. Biblical stuff, Exodus, Psalms, Matthew, Acts, but also reflections, prayers tied to them.
Right.
Our goal really is to pull out the key insights from all this for you, to maybe navigate things with a bit more clarity on guidance and readiness. Expect some illuminating connections, I think.
Yeah, and what's really compelling, I find, is how these texts, which seem separate, actually weave together. They create this narrative. And it's not just about, belief in the abstract. It's very much about active daily living, preparing for something greater.
Active living, okay.
We'll look at how these ancient words, honestly, offer some surprisingly relevant guidance for your life, like right now.
Okay, let's get into it then. So, first up, our sources take us way back to Exodus. And it's this incredibly detailed account of Moses setting up the dwelling, the tabernacle. The precision is just striking.
It really is. Exodus 40, verses 16 through 21, and then 34 through 38. It lays out how Moses followed every single detail the Lord commanded.
Every single one.
Placing the pedestals, setting up the boards, the bars, the columns, spreading the tent over it, putting the covering on top. I mean, it's a picture of just complete, meticulous obedience.
And then right after all that meticulous work, this happens. The cloud covered the meeting tent, and the glory of the Lord filled the dwelling. And it says Moses himself couldn't even go in. That speaks volumes, doesn't it, about this overwhelming, tangible presence.
Absolutely. And it immediately brings up a really important question, I think. What does that kind of clear physical sign of God's presence mean for guidance?
Well,
how does that work?
How are they led?
Well, the text spells it out. It's explicit. Whenever the cloud rose from the dwelling, the children of Israel would set out on their journey. Simple as that.
Okay.
But if the cloud did not lift, they would not go forward. Only when it lifted did they go forward. It's direct cause and effect.
No ambiguity there.
None. And it wasn't just like an occasional thing. It was constant, unmistakable. In the daytime, the cloud of the Lord was seen over the dwelling, whereas at night, fire was seen in the cloud.
Wow, fire at night.
By the whole house of Israel in all the stages of their journey. It forces you, I think, to really grapple with what that kind of unmistakable leading would feel like.
That visible, constant leading, it flows really nicely into Psalm 84, which is also in our sources.
Yeah.
Because that psalm just captures this deep human longing for exactly that kind of presence. It starts, "How lovely is your dwelling place, O Lord, mighty God."
It really does. And if you sort of look at the whole psalm, it paints this picture of just profound yearning. It's not just wanting to be near God.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it feels like a desire to be completely immersed in that presence. My soul yearns and pines for the courts of the Lord. My heart and my flesh cry out for the living God. That's pretty intense.
It is.
And then there's that image of the sparrows and swallows finding homes near God's altars. It suggests this fundamental sense of belonging there.
A safe place.
Right. And the psalmist makes this almost radical choice. I had rather one day in your courts than 1,000 elsewhere.
Wow.
I had rather lie at the threshold of the house of my God than dwell in the tents of the wicked. It's not just a slight preference. It's a declaration of where true life, true fulfillment is found.
Okay, so we have this external, undeniable guidance in Exodus and this deep internal longing for that presence in the psalm. But then the sources seem to pivot a bit, moving towards an internal call for discernment. We get Psalm 139, verse 23.
Right, that very personal plea.
"Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." What's the connection here, this inner search?
Well, this verse, especially when you read it alongside the reflection piece, Discerning God's Harvest, it really highlights something crucial.
Okay.
That God's kingdom, yes, it gathers everyone, it's inclusive in that sense, but it also involves eventually a time of separation and judgment.
Ah, okay. The harvest idea.
Exactly. So it puts the responsibility back on us. There's this urgent need for us to live wisely, to get good at discerning good from evil in our hearts and actions. It's about personal accountability, getting our inner world aligned.
And Jesus really hammers this home, doesn't he? With that parable in Matthew 13, the parable of the net.
Oh, absolutely. Verses 47 to 53. He says, the kingdom of heaven is like a net thrown into the sea, which collects fish of every kind.
All kinds, good and bad together initially.
Right. But crucially, it doesn't stop there. That's not the end of the story.
No. What happens next?
He continues, when it is full, they haul it ashore and sit down to put what is good into buckets. What is bad, they throw away. There's the separation.
Okay. Explicit separation.
Very explicit. And then he applies it directly. Thus it will be at the end of the age. The angels will go out and separate the wicked from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be wailing and grinding of teeth.
That's quite stark imagery.
It is. It directly illustrates that time of separation and judgment the reflection talks about. It's a challenging but very clear picture of the final harvest.
So that inner searching in Psalm 139, it's directly linked to being ready, being prepared for that separation.
Precisely.
The Discerning God's Harvest reflection says it point blank. Let us allow God's word to shape our lives daily in preparation for his final harvest. Makes it very personal, doesn't it?
Very. It's about daily shaping.
So after Jesus tells this parable, this really intense story about the net and the separation, he asks his disciples something important.
Yeah, a key question.
Do you understand all these things? And they say yes. But then he doesn't just leave it there. He gives them another analogy, right, about understanding.
Yes, and this is such a vital connection. It moves from just understanding to, well, applying that understanding, how you use it.
How so?
Jesus replies, then every scribe who has been instructed in the kingdom of heaven is like the head of a household who brings from his storeroom both the new and the old. The new and the old. Okay, not just one or the other.
Exactly. It's not about just clinging to tradition or only chasing the new thing. It's about integrating everything, a dynamic kind of wisdom.
And that discerning God's harvest reflection picks up right on this point. It says, like a trained scribe, we are to treasure both the old truths and the new insights he gives.
Beautifully put, isn't it? It echoes Jesus perfectly.
It really does. It emphasizes this continuous living understanding, not static.
Precisely. It's about a lifelong process, really. Learning, integrating, applying. And the prayer from that same source, it really nails this commitment to practical wisdom.
Read that for us.
Sure. Lord, purify my heart and help me choose what is good and pleasing to you. May I grow in wisdom through your word and live as a faithful servant of your kingdom. Growing in wisdom through the word.
Strengthen me to resist what draws me away from you. Make me ready for the day you gather your people home. It connects the wisdom, the choices, and the readiness.
It brings it all together.
And then there's also that short Alleluia verse from Acts 16. Open our hearts, O Lord, to listen to the words of your Son. Which feels key, right?
The open hearts, yeah.
It's a prayer for the receptivity you need to actually take in both the old and the new insights. To truly listen.
So it all seems to boil down to something very practical. The reflection actually asks this question. What one action can I take today to live more faithfully as a disciple of Jesus?
Brings it right down to earth.
From these huge concepts, the dwelling, the harvest, eternal wisdom, right down to, okay, what about today? What's one thing?
Yeah, it moves from the cosmic to the concrete. Very powerful.
So we've covered quite a bit. We went from, the physical dwelling of God, that clear, visible guidance, cloud and fire.
Unmistakable guidance.
To the inner dwelling, our hearts. The call for discernment there, searching the heart. And this strong message about readiness for a final separation or harvest.
And we saw how that idea of wisdom, the scribe bringing out old and new treasures, isn't just some academic thought exercise.
Right.
It's presented as a vibrant, active way to live a life of real faith and purpose. Integrating it all.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you, the listener? Maybe you consider this. It's a bit provocative, perhaps.
Come on.
If divine guidance was once so incredibly visible, a cloud by day, fire by night, and if the call now is more internal to constantly search our hearts, discern, and bring forth both new and old wisdom, how does that ongoing journey, that process of discovery and inner alignment, how does that prepare us? Not just for some future harvest, but maybe, just maybe, for finding and actually experiencing the divine dwelling in the everyday moments of your life, right here, right now.
That's a great question to ponder. Finding the dwelling now.